has been a very exciting week because I broke 100 subscribers. Wow! Thank you guys so much! In light of this, I've decided to start up a Facebook profile for my online endeavors, where I hope to be able to interact with you guys more, talk about the videos that I'm planning on doing, hearing your advice and feedback, etc. So I would love it if you would join me on Facebook. I also have a Twitter too, which you can follow me on if you want to. I won't be as active on Twitter as on Facebook, but you can hit me up on either of those websites and I'll put a link to them in the description. So next weekend, we will see the return of the ThunderCats Reboot show. So I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to talk about Thunder! 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 ThunderCats, ho! ThunderCats. Well, I have always been aware of the ThunderCats franchise. To be honest, the original is what you'd call a little bit before my time. It originally aired in 1984, at which point I would have been about -4 years old. I always thought the concept was pretty cool though, but unfortunately the show didn't age well. But a fantasy show about anthros? Yeah, I always wished it was a show I could have gotten into. So suffice to say that I was really excited when it was announced that there was going to be a reboot to this franchise. So, how does it hold up? Well, this show actually has one of the most impressive pilots I have ever seen. Omens Parts 1 and 2 are phenomenal. They have everything. They introduce all the characters that the fans are expecting to see. They establish characters, countries, cultural and political arenas, and then destroys everything. I'm not going to tell you too much, but watching the pilot alone is incredible, and if you don't watch anything else of the show, watch that. Unfortunately, the rest of the show is a little lacking comparatively. It's like they put all of their best script writing, acting, and storytelling abilities into the pilot and forgot to save any left over for the rest of the show. Now, it doesn't mean that the rest of the show is bad per se, it just means that it's not as spectacular as the opening 2-part episodes. The story is a find the mystical artifacts quest styled storyline, which is in fantasy terms kind of the plot line you fall back on when you can't really think of anything else. Gee, we have this really cool world and awesome characters, but what do we get them to do in it? They need to find a long-lost magical item. Brilliant! But to be fair, this is a kids show, and the Go Fetch Quest style storyline is a fairly typical one and pretty easy to pull off. It's done well enough to keep the story moving. The real area where this series falls short is character development. It's very episodic, with every episode focusing on one character and a character flaw, which they will overcome by the end of the episode and learn a valuable life lesson. Gee, that reminds me, what other show have I talked about lately with Aesop Fable style teaching? Why does My Little Pony succeed in this style of storytelling where ThunderCats doesn't? Well, it's in how well you flesh out your characters. In My Little Pony, each character is well established and their flaws and lessons are consistent with who you already know them to be. In ThunderCats, characters just seem to suddenly acquire a new flaw out of nowhere. In one episode, Lionel will suddenly start acting like a jerk out of absolutely nowhere just so that he can learn how not to be a jerk by the end of the episode. They seem to be kind of random and don't really form a consistent picture of who the character is. I don't know, I would be much more forgiving for its being a kids show if My Little Pony hadn't recently proven that kids show does not need to mean sloppy character writing. But let's look at the art style. This is really, really nice looking. The old character designs, like I said, haven't exactly aged very well. Good lord, why did we ever think that costume looked good? And I like the new one so very much. And if it looks very anime, that would be because it is an American-Japanese collaboration produced by Warner Brothers and Studio 4C. And I really think that the blending of styles works very well here. Being a fan of anime already, I really like this take on already familiar characters that were badly in need of an update. My only real problem with the update of the character designs is the age of the characters. In the original, Lionel looks like he's in his 40s or thereabouts. And true, he is a child trapped in an adult's body, but we're talking aesthetics here. Now, in this show, he's a teenager. And this is a part of a larger trend in modern media. It seems that we just don't want to watch shows about adults at all. Our culture is incredibly youth-obsessed right now. It's a general rule that any and all reboots of older titles are going to de-age the cast because anyone over 26 is just not culturally relevant. But I have digressed a little bit here, and this is a rant for perhaps another time. Teenage Lionel aside, these are really nicely done character designs, and with outfits that actually look like clothes instead of circus costumes. But really, I think what I most like about this is that it's a fantasy world inhabited by anthropomorphs. And as popular as that idea is, it's actually incredibly hard to come across a good one. And if you know of any others, please do let me know in the comments. Altogether, I enjoy this series. It has its flaws, but it's a pretty good show, and if nothing else, definitely check out the pilot.
ThunderCats!
Well, that was it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I would love it if you would like, comment, or subscribe. I especially love your comments. And join me on Facebook or Twitter. I would love to hear your feedback, and I would also love to have some suggestions for future videos. Let me know what you'd like to see me do in the future. See you guys next week. Bye. I don't actually have a Sword of Omens replica. This will have to do.